Hey there, welcome to the Healthy Church Staff Podcast. I'm Todd Rhoades, your host for the podcast, also one of the co-founders over at chemistrystaffing.com. Today we're kicking off a brand new we just finished with Thanksgiving, and now we're talking about moving into this next busy season. And man, this is the church's Super Bowl, right? Christmas and Easter, of course. But Christmas is right around the corner. We want to talk, not maybe necessarily about Christmas in particular, but about how to navigate this really busy season in ministry. I know this time of the year can be overwhelming, but we want to start things off with a simple reminder that your Christmas efforts matter more than, and if you're feeling pressure right now, stick with me because I think you'll walk away from today's episode hopefully feeling encouraged and maybe a little bit more motivated to push through. All right, so let's be real. This is it. This is the time of year that is probably the most hectic. You may have just kicked off your fall series, your fall plans. You just got through Thanksgiving, and now you're planning for services and rehearsing music and setting up decorations and coordinating volunteers and trying to make sure that everything goes off this Christmas season without a hitch, and it feels like a marathon. And sometimes it might make you wonder if all the stress, if all the work is really worth it. But here's the thing. Christmas is one of the few times of year when people who wouldn't normally come to church decide to show up. It's a time when families and friends and even complete strangers will be walking through your doors, the doors of your church, looking for a sense of hope and peace and joy. And they're going to find that because of the work you're putting in today and this week and next week and the week after. Think about that for a second. There will be people in your services this Christmas who are hearing about Jesus for the very first time. And there'll be others who are hearing the story again, but this time something will click in a new way. Maybe they're searching for answers. Maybe they're lonely. Maybe they're just curious. But the work that you're doing right now is creating a space for them to encounter something real and something incredibly life-changing. And that's the story of Jesus. I'm reminded of Galatians 6:9. It says, "Do not let us become weary in doing good, for at a proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Now, I know it's easy to feel really tired during these next few weeks, but remember, the seeds that you're planting now are going to make an impact. And even if you don't see it immediately, trust that your efforts are creating a space where God can move in people's hearts. Here's your bottom line for today. Remember why you're doing this. When you're setting up chairs or rehearsing that song one more time or double-checking the lighting, remind yourself that this is all coming together for a greater purpose. You're creating an environment where people can experience the love of Jesus, maybe for the first time ever in their lives, and that's worth every bit of effort. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, take a deep breath, step back, and think about that person, those people that might walk through the doors this Christmas. That's why your work matters, and you're a part of this bigger story, and it's a story worth telling. What are you doing at your church this Christmas? I'd love to hear how you're preparing for the Christmas season, and if there's a story or a moment that keeps you going when things get tough, I'd love to hear about it. Send me an email anytime, podcast@chemistrystaffing.com. Your stories, and I get them every week from people that listen to the podcast, people just like you that share their story, an encouraging story, a challenging story, prayer requests. Your stories are always encouraging, and I'd love to share a few of those on a future episode if I can. Just reach out to me, podcast@chemistrystaffing.com. And if you haven't already hit that subscribe button, do so right now so you don't miss the rest of the series. We're going to be talking about everything from pacing yourself during the busy season to finding moments of rest. I don't want you to miss even one episode of this series. All right, so thanks for hanging out with me today. I know this can be the time of year where there's so much going on, but remember, your efforts are not in vain. What you're doing is making a difference. It's going to make a difference, and it's bringing hope to people who really need to hear it. You don't know who they are. I don't know who they are, but God knows who they are, and He's using you to accomplish His purpose. All right, keep going. Keep preparing. We appreciate you here at Chemistry Staffing and podcast. If there's any way I can help, again, podcast at chemistrystaffing.com. Hope you have a great week.